Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio, the Bible study that is environmentally and socially sustainable. We study the Bible here. In the Bible Bistro, we have the School of Wisdom podcast, we have the Creek Road Baptist Pulpit, and this fine program, Daily Dose Radio, which studies the Psalms verse by verse. Today we're looking at Psalm 99, verses 8 and 9. Verses 8 and 9 are very much like verses 4 and 5. You want to compare those, you'll notice some features that are very much similar, but we want to read those first before we get into the comparisons. And so let me begin by reading 8 and 9 in Psalm 99. Thou answerest them, O Lord our God. Thou wast a God that forgavest them, though thou took vengeance of their inventions. Exalt the Lord our God and worship at his holy hill, for the Lord our God is holy. So we've had 3 sections. Section 1, present. Section 2, future. Section 3, the past. And we've been looking at the past. As I said yesterday, it's good soul care to remember what the Lord has done to encourage us so that we don't get discouraged when we're praying and when we're going through the things that we're going through, suffering and being persecuted for his sake and all the rest. We need help, and he gives us that. And he's always there to hear our prayers. So he told Moses and Aaron and Samuel, I'm going to hear what you have to say. He listened and he answered them. And then we come to 8 today. You answered them, O Lord our God. You were a God that forgave them. So not only did he hear them and answer them, not only did he communicate to them by speaking to them his testimonies and his ordinance, but he also answered their prayers and he forgave them. Now, we read nothing in 6 and 7 about them confessing sin, did we? But it did say they called upon the Lord. So if they called upon the Lord, then I guarantee you there was a little confession going on in there someplace, probably a lot more than a little, because they're coming before a holy God. And so surely they're laying down their hearts and their hands and they're saying, I surrender all because I'm a sinner and I don't deserve to stand here in your presence. Yeah, there's some confession going on there, no doubt. So he heard them, he answered them, O Lord our God, you were a God that forgave them. How wonderful that our God will forgive. Isn't that wonderful? It certainly is. Though you took vengeance on their inventions. So even though he forgave them, he still judged some of the things that they had done, these inventions, whatever they might be. Exalt the Lord our God and worship at his holy hill. Now, as I said at the beginning, we want to compare this with 4 and 5. If you look in 4 and 5, you have, thou dost establish equity, thou executest judgment. In 8, you have, thou answerest them, thou wast a God that forgavest them, thou tookest vengeance on their inventions. So 4 is very much like 8. We have thou dost, thou executest, thou answers, thou was a God that forgave them, took vengeance on them. So those things are almost parallel. And then 5 and 9 are almost exactly alike, except for the end of the first phrase in 5 is worship at his footstool. The last phrase in 9 says, or the last part of the first phrase in 9 says, worship at his holy hill. So just a little slight difference there, but again, it takes us back to the very presence of God, the place where he is to be worshiped, the cherubims, the mercy seat, the footstool, his holy hill. So we're still before God. This is the place of worship. And then we have this great antiphonal response at the very end, for the Lord our God is holy. Go to church this weekend and say that as you worship him. Join me again next week. We'll look at Psalm 100 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.